or you will pick up something I'm going to be playing on the computer during the sermon. And if you want, after I play that, you can move away if you want. If you just a thought.
You can swing one of these.
I'm going to play something that you're going to want to go home and find on your computer. I'm sure not. Okay, Karina?
You can ding the chime.
I can't reach it. Welcome. Yeah, great. This man needs help. Welcome to the Treasure Coast Unitarian Universalist Congregation. I'm glad you're here. This is a small turnout, but it's a holiday weekend. And I used to say to my Methodist churches on holiday weekends with small turnouts, you remind me of a scripture line. And they all forsook him and fled. Never mind. Anyhow, welcoming means whoever you are, this is your place, this is our place, and we hope welcome is something we do as well as say. And now chalice words. I'll light it, you read it.
Okay. We ignite this flame, symbol of our faith, to beckon us into community, warm our hearts in love, and give us a light to follow as we carry our faith into action.
Now, I didn't ask if there are any new people here, and you might be wondering, who is this new person? Brenda has been here off and on for years. Brenda Messina from Green Island, New York, which is just outside the Mecca called Troy, and Cove Road, which is just, never mind. Welcome back.
Thank you. I feel very welcome.
Let's begin with our affirmation. Here we affirm, love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Summer services in here. The general idea I get from you all is that it's been a good idea. Next summer we'll come and we'll probably do this again. But it has been good, and I appreciate all the help I've had. I've had a lot of help. Jim and Jay and Tia, and Karina, and Sandy and Judy. Who am I forgetting? Janet. Janet. A number of people have helped, and the problem with starting to thank people is you always need help to include. Now for matters of joy and sorrow. I have to start out, of course, with Pam. I saw Pam twice this week, and the first time I saw her, she wanted to talk about what things she wanted to give the church. And that included artwork, a number of 5 or 6 pieces that are like this. So I told her I hope we could find a place where we could have a Pam wall and her picture and smiling face in the middle. The second time I saw her, she had gone downhill from the 3 days previously. And the hope for her is that she doesn't have long, because she doesn't want to be in the condition she's in. Her 2 airline people from way way back are doing wonderful for her, all they can. But they also want the best for her. And right now, we know what that is. She's lost a lot of weight. She can't talk very well. And I couldn't understand most of what she said in my second visit. So I just wish her, and I've told her that she's a keeper and that we will have her smiling face with us. But that's been, you know, the level of our conversation. And I leave weeping. She's weeping because she goes on, but with no food going in, it can't be much longer. And we have been saying that. But Pamela Joy, I've told her we're going to remember her by her middle name as well, Pamela Joy Gordon. Okay, I maybe went on too much there, but you know, that's where I be, and you'll hear more of that in the sermon. That was Friday, and that Friday afternoon I got home, and Jenny called to say that Jack Cassidy has been in the hospital and needs a ride home. That was the first I knew about that. Jack will be 94 in November. So I got a hold of his son in Virginia and told him to call Jack and tell him that Uber is on the way, but to find out if he was definitely ready to go home. So Bill Cassidy called Jack and called me back and said he got somebody in the hospital to take him home.
Yeah.
To his home. Jack is a great guy, and I hope he'll be back here with us soon. I got a message from Florence that Florence and Paul just got back from their tour of Greece and they came home sick. So we hope they're better, and we hope to hear from them soon that they are better. All right, that's my list. Who else has something, matter of joy or sorrow, to share? Ronnie?
Saga with my stepdaughter. My husband's still out there with her, but she's finally been released and has gone by ambulance back to Grand Forks to rehab. And Fred and our grandson and her husband drove back. And so they're all in Grand Forks, and she's in the rehab there, so it's improving. And it looks like she's going to be okay. She had a liver transplant and then broke her head. And that's why it's taking so long. It's really probably the head more than the liver. So Fred's planning to come home next Saturday.
Wow. How long has he been there now? A month?
Month like.
Seems like it.
But we're going to wait the month of October, so that's to come home sometime.
Well, took out
Give him our best and his best. Who else? Jim?
Good morning. Jay and I are very excited. Tuesday we leave on a road trip. We're going to see our kids, Hayden, who's up in Portland, and our daughter, who's in Beverly, Massachusetts. And we don't get to see them that often, so that's a joyful thing. One of our family member, our friends of extended family, young fellow, passed away last year, and we're going to his memorial service. And the dad called me, who's a friend of mine, and asked if I would facilitate the ashes distribution, which I'm very proud to be able to do.
Yeah.
So we have a good trip for a couple weeks, and we'll get to see our family and just enjoy that.
Well, you will be missed, but your fuel will wait. Who else? Yes, Tia.
I spoke with Deb Harris 2 nights ago. She was excited to say that Francisco is coming home this weekend because her birthday is Tuesday, so he's coming home for her birthday. You know, since they're on travel visas, tourist visas, they have to keep going out of the country after a certain number of days until they get approved for resident visas. So she's planning on coming back here probably in early December for at least a week. I hope a few days longer because she keeps cramming so much in, she doesn't have a chance to do everything. So that's it. So I think he's there now, so they're together now, which is lovely.
I've heard from her too, and it's just a joy to hear how she's doing. And it's a joy to see you, lady, right in front of me. Are you still feeling better and doing better?
Feel great.
Oh, that's great.
So happy to be back here. Oh my goodness.
You're only allowed to continue to be feeling better. I hope you understand that. We have a number of birthday people. I think Stan has a birthday soon. Is that right?
The first,
The first. Is that tomorrow?
yes,
Most people know it as Labor Day, but it's really Stan's Day, right?
it stands,
And
yeah.
you've been working ever since you got here, right?
Yeah, he says it was Labor Day for his mother.
Who else has a birthday this month? I saw a number of people. Yeah, in the bulletin, right?
Regina.
Rob and who else?
Regina.
Do you birthday people want to come up here and sing to us?
Oh, yes.
All I can do is make the offer.
Next week with the cake,
Next week with the cake.
yes.
Should we make them sing for the cake?
Yeah.
We'll sing to them. We'll sing to them for the cake. Okay. That was a little joy to end on because I need a little joy to end on. Is there anyone else who has either category? Yes. Brenda.
Joy. My son is doing a Ironman on the 20th
Oh,
of this month.
Wow.
And he's doing it in memory and honor of his father who passed away last year.
Wow.
So, it's in his father's hometown, Cambridge, Maryland. So he's been training for about 10 months. So I'm very
Wow.
happy he's gotten this far and pray that he gets through the whole course.
Yes,
It's
without
really,
injury.
yes, so.
Could you say very quickly what Ironman means?
Ironman is a race, you do a full marathon, 112 miles on a bike, and I think it's 3.5 miles swim.
Yes,
Is that right?
yes.
Okay, great. So he will have his 50th birthday this year in October. So what I also want to say is, even though we have our differences and we've been struggling in our relationship, it's interesting because my father-in-law died when I was 50, and I did my first marathon.
Oh, my.
So even though we're not together,
Sure.
to know that he's following
It
in those
means a
steps,
lot.
it does mean a lot.
Good. I'm glad you shared that.
Just keep him on the 20th in your
20th,
thoughts.
okay.
Thank you.
You're going back to your other home at the end of this week, right?
Yeah, and I'll be back down in a couple weeks.
Email me how he did through his
I
Ironman.
will,
will you?
yes, yeah.
Good.
I'm not able to be there,
Yeah,
I would, but.
accept in spirit. Anyone else with a matter of joy or sorrow? Okay, we'll take a moment of silence, and then you know how we do spirit of life. The first moments of silence. on it. It's by Bertie Carbiak. She was very active here in the first 10 years or so, and maybe longer, I don't know. But this tells me she had a daughter. I forgot that. But I think we can relate to it with our children's leaving or our leaving. It's called Pure Music. When you leave this place to satisfy your talent and your intellect at school this year, I'll miss your little girl determination and your silly giggled conversations tumbling end over end with an endless stream of friends. Those friends you longed for in the lean years while you studied your surroundings to discover where you fit in this strange old mountain town among some folks of narrow mind and wide girth. Your geometric dialectic. I'll miss you asking how my day was, reliving stories of your own, explaining all the status categories, warning me about a quiz you think you've blown. I'll miss experiencing minute gradations of your evolution, watching you unfolding week by week. The bedtime hugs and pecky kisses every night, your morning grumps, and even all the mental lumps we gave each other as we struggled to become, to grow, to be. I'll miss you telling me I'm weird, crazy, mean, and yet your friends all think I'm cool, the hippie mom. I'll miss you calling me mama when you're happy, mommy when imploring, and mom when I'm being motherly and boring. But most of all, I'll miss the very thing that's drawing you away from here. Your music, music, music. You've always been pure music to my ear. Bertie Carbiak.
That was lovely.
Well, it's happened twice this year. I am again in the middle of dealing with someone I and we are losing. So I sit down late this week to prepare a message I said a month or two ago, and I have an H of a time remembering what was I thinking. And what did I think I would need to talk about then? So I know why ministers keep old sermons. Not because, like some of our clothing, they might become fashionable again, but because we might become desperate. So today, you get a short one. I thought it was going to be shorter, but I did get going. What I'm about to start with, I heard that. What I'm about to start with appeals to a rather peculiar need I have for a very specialized meeting. The A's are ambivalence and ambiguity. Life is just too multi-complex, richly textured, complicated, serendipitous, to all that, to allow us to be absolutely sure about anything. Anything except the beauty of people and almost all living things. The exceptions being rats and bats. maybe not to some of you, to be absolutely sure about anything except that, and the tonic, the vitamin of I love you in those moments / lifetimes, eternity, when we are fortunate enough to feel it and to share it. So I need a group where I can stand and say and mean, hello, my name is Bob, and nearly all my life I have suffered and or enjoyed, I can't decide which, acute ambivalence and ambiguity. So it's 3 A's, and the closest thing I have found is you. Y-O-U-U. I feel better now. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yes.
I'm in a book study with New York Methodist clergy friends. The book is Franciscan priest author Richard Rohr, R-O-H-R. I think some of you have mentioned him as of interest in your journey. The book is called The Tears of Things. The Tears of Things. Prophetic wisdom for an age of outrage. He starts with a poem I found pretty gripping, but I stumbled over one word in it and had to do some background checking it out. Thanks to YouTube, that took me to a world away, and I do like travel. So of course you get it. Does anybody here know the word Tuvan? T-U-V-A-N. I didn't. And, or Tuvan singers. I got an idea what that meant, and I found Mongolian throat singers on YouTube. It kind of reminded me of yodeling. But now I want you all to hear this, if you can hear it. No, I'm not going to do it. No. You may not be able to hear it, but if you insist later on, I'll let you come up and see it closer. I hope. Yeah. 2 minutes. Horses, Mongolia. I think you got the idea. Now, who would like to come up and try to do that?
I remember distinctly when you gave that sermon.
You remember distinctly? I think that's called a false memory.
Bob, for those of us who were here then, when the Buddhist monks came and lived in our sanctuary,
Oh.
they gave a performance in the sanctuary that included throat singing and many other things. It was fantastic.
He said he studied for like 20 years.
Yeah.
I was wondering if I could ask you to come up front and try that.
No.
And- Well, I've heard of them being here, it was when I wasn't here, but, so you do have an idea of it. So, that's background to your appreciating this poem I'm about to read, which you haven't heard before. It's from a new book. I haven't heard it before either. The poem is entitled For When People Ask by Rosemary Watola Trommer. Has anybody heard of that poet? Okay, here's the poem. For When People Ask. Am I talking too loud now? I want a word that means okay and not okay. More than that, a word that means devastated and stunned with joy. I want the word that says, I feel it all at once. The heart is not like a songbird, singing only one note at a time, more like a two-band throat singer, able to sing both a drone and simultaneously 2 or 3 harmonics high above it. A sound the two bands say that gives the impression of a wind swirling among rocks. The heart understands swirl, how the churning of opposite feelings weaves through us like an insistent breeze, leads us wordlessly deeper into ourselves, blesses us with paradox, so we might walk more openly into this world so rife with devastation, this world so ripe with joy. Now, those are the two feelings the author and the poet are trying to get us to hold at the same time. This world so rife with devastation, this world so ripe with joy. And then I just want to read a short paragraph of this author, The Tears of Things, a Franciscan priest author, about 80. In the first book of Virgil's Aeneid, the hero Aeneas gazes at a mural that depicts a battle of the Trojan War and the deaths of his friends and countrymen. He is so moved with sorrow at the tragedy of it all that he speaks of the tears of things, lacrimae rerum, the tears of things. As another author translates it, there are tears at the heart of things, at the heart of our human experience. Our tears can move both Aeneas and us beyond our deserved and paralyzing anger at evil, death, and injustice without losing the deep legitimacy of that anger. The idea of the book, I believe, is that tears help us move beyond anger and sadness. They help us, if anything can, get to forgiveness. If we can't forgive, whatever we tell ourselves, we are more like the one or ones we can't forgive than we want to be or ever would admit to ourselves. And forgiveness doesn't mean whatever you've done is okay. Forgiveness means I'm not going to let anger define me, become me. I think you were saying that somewhat last week. Does it sound familiar? Something like that. Something like that. The book tells me that tears are empowering. They are the way you find strength, your strength, to go on. The tears of everything. The tears of things being the title. So, my topic today was supposed to be living by our 7 principles. When I got to sit down to work on that theme, I realized life happened again, and it was hard to take my mind off that and talk about this. And then I went through my Rolodex. I'm grateful to have a number of people here willing to speak, but whom can I call the day before and say, we keep saying here, we aren't a creedal congregation. Creeds were of historical value once. We learned that creeds were important once because they were supposed to make followers, believers, stop arguing and fighting and killing each other about the nature of God and the 2 natures of Christ, if you've come from Christian tradition. Creeds are of historical moment in our personal histories because of where our parents or parent took us, hoping religion would catch on or at least contribute to helping us behave and be good, socialized little people. And a creed was something that was said in the religion school our parents came from and brought us to. Some of us had to memorize one to join. But creeds didn't say much or anything about how we were to live, and precious little about treating other people. About looking on that guy on the YouTube and thinking backward, inferior, superior, things like that. So, our principles leave you to figure out what deity means to you. I tell people that joining us, you work on your beliefs, whatever they are, work on them here, and what your relationship to that deity might be, might become, might evolve to. I've told you often that I was won over to the way a priest I knew spoke on the subject. He never said G-O-D, but always the mystery we call God. Maybe better put, the mystery some call God. So UU says up front, first principle, all people have dignity and worth, and therefore are to be treated with dignity, worth, and respect. America is about to turn 250, and the nation started out recognizing white property men as deserving of dignity, worth, and respect, and voting rights. And thanks to courageous women and people of color, the category of deserving, which meant having the right a voice and vote got expanded. But the principle of who gets dignity and respect has hit a roadblock, and Americans still have to decide, to whom does live and let live not apply? That's a rhetorical question, but I'm going to ask you to finish up my sermon in a couple minutes. You have a first principle about that. All people. Does that sound too political, like that ACLU ad? All people? Too bad. Political comes from polis, a Greek word meaning the city, the country, where people live. Who has rights there? Who has rights here? You have a principle that covers that. All people. And not just people, all creatures, great and small. I'm assuming that includes bats and rats, too. We have to fight for them, all creatures, great and small. We have one granddaughter. Lori and I have 6 altogether, grands, but one granddaughter, who might want to be a farmer someday, because at 17 or 18, she was a leader in her FFA near Raleigh. I told her to steer away from chicken farming, because the grandmother who lived near her, my first wife, came from Western PA, and in the courting days, we would visit her grandparents and sit on the porch and chat. And across the street, a neighbor hung headless chickens by their feet to drain them. Would the children here please cover their ears? It's kind of too late. I should have said that before I said that. Sorry about that. So we watch that quite often. They're still fighting about the rights of chickens before they get to the table food. Fortunately, there are animal rights people, and some of you or some of our group here have bumper stickers that say, "That matters to you." And our principles affirm the world, and the peoples of the world having the same rights as all of us. Imagine that. And our principles flag the values of science and education. There's a long history, and not long ago in America, a history of religion being threatened by science and education. Lori and I like those half-hour shows of forensic science. So some of you watch them.
Yes.
We find them good at night when we're trying to go to sleep, and we can't take anything much deeper than that, and it's pretty clear about what it's showing. Usually ending with a relative of a victim proclaiming the awesomeness of science and the wonder of law enforcement saving evidence until science can evolve to solve some crimes. And now, new pictures, new photos of the universe showing the density of endless galaxies of which we are a tiny part. Can you get that we get to be a part of all that? Does that really show our littleness or our majesty to be a part of it all? Well, both. These principles are guidance for living, reminders of what's important when we forget or until we wake up. A major value of our gathering is our learning from each other. Our learning from each other. And this final P.S. There are many times in life many times in life that I forget I should have said at the beginning. Many times in life, you can barely struggle to hold on. And some of you tell me, I'm glad you do, when you're in such a time. But you make it with the help of a few or many who hold on to you until you do. And it helps to have behavioral guardrails. These principles are like that. They mattered to us once, and they will again. And our 7 principles also do that for us. And now I need you to help me to put a lid on this. A punctuation mark at the end of our principles. What do you have to say?
Wow.
Any thoughts on how our principles become more than talk? Yes, the chair. What's her name?
President, not chair. That's all right, I continue to answer that. I came prepared for the other sermon,
What's that?
the other sermon that you were going to give. So, I started the sequence this summer by suggesting that we consider the principles in a very personal point of view. And rather than trying to look out and look at everybody else and solve everybody else, we look at our own participation, what we do. And I gave an example of when I was in the Marine Corps, I was in Boston on recruiting duty. And it was 70 to 73, and it was the height of the anti-Vietnam protests on campuses. We were not safe a lot of times. I couldn't wear my uniform on the subway. And I built up, without really realizing it, an unconscious bias to anybody that had long hair, wire-rimmed glasses. And when I was walking down the street one day, in my civilian clothes, I came across a group of them, and I was prepared, amping up mentally. They're going to try to force me off the sidewalk, they're going to push me, all of this. And of course, I was in civilian clothes, they didn't know who I was, and they just stepped aside and let me pass. And the weight of all that adrenaline that had built up just whoosh, almost knocked me over. And I realized that I had been guilty of the same thing that I thought other people had been guilty of, which is really trying to see people for who they are and not the wiring glasses and the hair, but who they are and not their behavior. So that was my own personal lesson. So,
Thank you, President Tia.
thank you, Reverend Bob.
Who else have, yes, Shay.
Just thinking about what Tia said, and strongly agree that it starts as an individual, like living these principles starts at an individual level. And I also think of these principles as something that's so different in a church/congregational environment, right? Unitarians are the only ones that have this, that I'm aware of, correct me, I'm wrong, but have this non-dogmatic philosophy, principles about how to live. And it surprises me that more people aren't flocking here.
Yeah, me too. Me here, me too.
Yeah, and so because they are in this time where people are looking for philosophies and principles that help them live their life and are suspicious or wary is a better word of dogmatic or just believing something that they're told. It does surprise me, and somehow it feels, maybe part of it is that, as my grandfather used to say, don't hide your light under the bushel basket,
Yes.
right? It's somehow, so to Tia's point, it's very individual, and the best way to show this is to live it, and yet we also somehow have to reach others and share this with them so that they can see if it fits for them. Not that we, don't do some of that, but it surprises me that it's not more, there aren't people banging down the door.
Yes. Now, I wanted to say in response to Tia, that it gave me the idea, we could possibly put up a big board on an easel and invite people to take something that sticks on the board and take it home and fill it in with what you do to apply our principles that are up on the wall. You can sign it or not sign it, things that people do to apply, and then we can learn something from each other that way, Ken.
Well, I was just gonna say, just to note that, one thing we do is that groups of us who focus on particular principles get together and take action on it. For example, for a long time, we cooked for the homeless. Now we have a group that's doing some social action. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing. So that's, you asked how we do it, that's how we do it. We do it by joining with fellow Unitarians that hold particular views and go out and actually do something. The more
Yes. I'm sorry,
To
did I cut you off?
that point, it doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens in relationships to other people. And I think you can sit back and plan what you think, who you should be, but it's actually, I think you have to trust that when you're around other people and the situation arises, to call upon you to do something or to step up or to be a certain way, that you have to have faith in that. And I know the people that have affected me the most in life, it just has come out of nowhere, like in an interaction with somebody, when all of a sudden, I'm down and somebody will say something to me that I'll remember for the rest of my life, just in that moment.
It's amazing. That's why it's serendipitous
Yeah.
that happens. It does happen. Yeah. Jim?
Being in the personal, from our own independent and intimate perspective, we're all different. What Judy said the other day is, the inherent worth and dignity of every person is easy when it feels good, but when it doesn't, we're still on the hook to push ourselves and ask ourselves intimately, what is that, and what can I do? And it's hard. And the fourth principle of free and responsible search for truth. How responsible I am in the search for truth of my own opinions. And when I say something in a group and it lands hard and it's not good, I'm like, ooh, I didn't really research that. And those little alarm clocks that go off on us and remind us that it's easy when the fruit is low, but when we come up against, when we live these principles, we're supposed to come up against hardship in ourselves, and take that responsibly and make ourselves that much of a better person.
Yeah, I've been thinking that somewhat with our need for each other, our need for community. We enjoy laughing together a lot. We are also grieving together a lot. And this year, I've been saying, I think has been a really good year for a number of reasons. But look at the losses. I mean, the losses are very deep, and they are still with us and going to be with us. And we have to help each other through them. That's a nice note to end on, isn't it? Yes, Judy.
You ended?
Yeah, please say something more joyful.
Well, I don't know if it's joyful, but it may be something that you had said at some point about the principles. That we don't necessarily claim to follow them, to live by them. That it's a constant striving to live by those principles.
Yeah, and if you come here, you're going to hear somebody else give you an idea. And that's a good thing. Anybody else?
May I have one more turn?
One more, go ahead, Miss President.
Quite a few years ago, when a president got reelected that I couldn't believe had been elected the first time, I tried to talk to a few people as neutrally as possible about why they had voted for that person. At the end, it was like, well, he's our president, so if he says it, it must be right. And I realized from that and a few other things, I formulated the theory that there are people out there who don't want to be challenged, to come and question, and they want to be told what to believe.
Right.
It takes them out of responsibility for anything. It's like the old country doctor. He says and you do. So we appeal to the people who want to be challenged and think. And there's a smaller number of those than there should be, I think.
Yeah. I've always felt, or often felt, that people go to church and get confirmed, and then they continue going to church to have confirmed what they were taught or what they think, rather than to have that challenge. Yes, Judith.
If I'd like to answer Jay about why people aren't rushing to our door, all the studies that we've done way in the past, and they're not too far in the past, is that the Unitarian congregations, Unitarian Universalist congregations, are the most successful when they have a university in their town or city, or a university and a college. Because these, the principals again, are generally the people that are out there learning to think. And churches are highly supported by the philosophy departments of these universities. And so we need a university.
Well, there's one behind us, isn't there? Stan, go ahead.
Being the age that I am, the color that I am, the profession that I am, being a veteran, sometimes I feel like social media has become some kind of filter where they're got some experiment. Can they possibly turn me right way if they throw enough?
Speak up if you can.
Okay, so basically I'm saying that I've been listening to a lot of right-wing social media stuff, reading it. A lot of it is just dismissible. But a lot of it is dismissible, but some of it is actually articulate, and it pays attention to not just what we're saying, but the way it's being perceived. Now, some of it is really hard to listen to because it's the straw man argument, but there's looking for that grain of truth there, and paying attention to that, and maybe altering our message a little bit so that we don't fall into those easily categorized stereotypes that can so easily be dismissed.
Yeah. We don't want it all conveyed, we're not teachable. Hopefully we are teachable until the end. Or somebody should drop the lid on us if we get to that point. No, I didn't mean that. Okay, listen, thank you all for your contributions. We'll continue them over coffee, and we'll be in the next room next week. Yes, Tia?
Stan and I have a suggestion. We like this so much that we'd like to suggest that maybe twice a month after the sermon, we have a sermon discussion in here. We used to do that at one point. Not every week, because we've got other things, but maybe twice a month. Everybody would like to see that? Would you vote?
Or once a month?
Once a month.
Or
Or once a month.
Okay, let's start with once a month
Start with once a month.
and see how we hold up. So come in here after maybe a 15-minute coffee break. We're going to turn our attention to the topic. Okay.
The thing is some sermons warrant more discussion than others. How do we identify the sermon that really is going to move people?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Maybe we just do it spontaneously. Some week when we think there's a lot of discussion, we say, hey, let's do it this week.
That's talk about that.
I agree.
Yes, what is your name again? Janet, right?
Nisha, Janet Nisha.
One of
You
those.
could call me anything out here. The mandala, this is the last week to work on the mandala so that it can be completed by Friday. And if you want to participate or finish one of the pieces, do so. If you don't want to finish it, I'll probably end up finishing it for you so that we can close this up.
So should people see you this morning after we're done here?
Yeah,
And tell you-
that's the thing, we haven't had good communication. I was sick last week actually, so we need to exchange numbers so that if you want to work here at any time, just give me a call and I can be here or we can communicate or whatever. But we got crisscrossed last week, for which I apologize. I think I got sick and then, I don't know, Tim, you sick?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so, anyway, that's the story for the mandala piece.
Thank you. All right, thank you all. And we'll go on now to some refreshment and we'll extinguish the light. And hope you go in peace.